My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Have you ever worked with a property management company and you're kind of frustrated because you have no idea what the hell is really going on with your property? If you've ever faced that frustration, then you're definitely going to want to tune in today, because we've got a real estate entrepreneur who also owns a property management company, and they're really all about transparent property management. So zooming in from beautiful New Brunswick, Canada, we've got Anson Darville. Anson, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
All right. So hanging out in beautiful St. John, New Brunswick. Tell us a little bit about what real estate investing looks like for you, Anson. Because you got a couple of sides of your business. You've got the active real estate investor, the principal, and then you got the property management side of things as well. So tell us a little bit about what real estate investing looks like for you these days.
Um, St. John's got a lot of opportunities with properties that are maybe not in the best of conditions, that there's a lot of value add.
Yeah.
The city is getting a lot better with wanting to add units and allow taking, older homes, older properties to allow more density and things like that. So that also helps. But it's a unique market that I've come to find out, because we also do operate in Moncton, New Brunswick as well. That with the age of the homes and the level of repair that sometimes is needed, quite often some real estate investors decide to shy away, and but we love them, and we love helping other investors to be able to take advantage of what we have going on here in St. John.
Well, so explain that to us. So what does that mean exactly? What is the strategy that you're following? Are you doing single family home renovations? Are you doing multifamily? Are you doing conversions? Are you doing burrs? What does real estate investing look like for you? What is it exactly?
Kind of all of the above, but
Oh,
primarily we stay away from single family homes unless they're in an area where a rezoning, or even, believe it or not, we actually have some single family homes that are in already zoned for multifamily, like the
yeah.
lot is already ready to go. But typically we're talking duplexes, triplexes, fours, fives that we're trying to make six and above, right? So the holy grail of real estate investing is being able to refinance on a net operating income instead of what did the duplex next door sell to for.
Right.
So that's a lot of the time where we start ourselves, is trying to, if we can take it from a four or five to a six, seven, we love to do that. Working with another investor right now, we're actually taking some triplexes, some fourplexes, fiveplexes, and we're actually going max density with the city. We're actually going like one triplex I have right now. We've submitted for a 12 unit.
So
So
are you going to be tearing down the triplex
no,
and building it? So you're turning a
no.
triplex into a 12 unit.
Yeah.
Help,
So what
help
we're
me
doing
out with
is
that. So are we
we're,
going up? We're going
it,
sideways. We're going all.
so so the magic number in St. John, to not get into a bunch of rated issues, is 3 stories. Okay.
Okay.
So typically I stay at 3 stories, and we try to maximize whatever the size of the lot is. So a perfect example is I have a triplex in a residential commercial zoned lot it's big, it's beautiful. It used to be three very beautiful, um, 3 bedroom with a furnace in the back room on every level, house that had 3 beautiful units. And
So 3 units, 2 stories already, or what is it
no,
looking like?
so it was a ground level, mid level, third level, and each
Yep.
one of them used to have their own furnace in the back that ran water baseboard heat. And the house was bought by an investor that I'm working with now, and it was so dilapidated. Like it had
What year is this from, this property, give or take?
1870.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
1870,
1870.
1880, around it's well over 100 years old. And that's a lot of the homes that we play within. We're somewhere around the 1870s, 1890s to, you know, 1920s, 30s. Like it's
So
very
100
rare.
years plus typically.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
very rare that we actually play with something typically that's in the, 1960s or 70s range. So,
All right. So are you this? I'm trying to get a picture of my in my mind of this old triplex. Was
yep.
it purpose built as a triplex back
Oh,
150
definitely.
years
Yeah.
ago? Yeah. So
And
it's
and I shouldn't say that. I would say originally this was probably a three-story because of the way the staircase and things were. The way that this was built, I would say was more than likely it was the servant quarters on one floor, the main house living on another, and then the top floor would have been the owner's bedrooms and stuff back in the late 1800s, 19s.
okay. Yeah.
And we see that again, we see that a lot here in St. John.
Yeah.
And this property is sitting on a shale foundation that railroad ties that are running underneath the property. And the reason why it's so advantageous to work with the existing structure is because we're grandfathered for so many things.
Ah.
So if this building came down tomorrow because of current building code and the current city, provincials, and so forth, the only way I could rebuild this property is by doing full ICF all the way around, completely non-combustible build and siding,
Yeah. No,
and
for sure.
I'd have to go like 8 or 9 stories to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And trying to get an 8 or 9 story building approved on the street that this is on is just not going to happen. Versus I can expand out. We're going to take the existing footprint.
Yeah.
We're going to go directly along because it sits on the property line. We're going to go directly along the property line, directly along the property line, and directly along the property line to come back out. And we're grandfathered to do that. We have to still build it in ICF. Don't get me wrong, for the fully non-combustible, but we're grandfathered to do that because of the existing building that's there. So it allows us to take a triplex, which it's fitting 9 of the 12 units, right?
Yeah.
And we're adding another
Three
um,
units.
900 square feet on the back. Well, not a full 900, but almost a 900 square feet per level on the back of the building. And that will give us our 12 units. And the beautiful thing in St. John right now is there's a huge cry for one bedrooms and bachelors. There's because all of these big, beautiful homes are typically all 3 and 4 bedroom homes.
Right.
So if we have a property that is in really great shape that we can salvage the 3 or the 4 bedrooms, then we will. But like this one it was ravaged by fire. It's had break-ins. Like it just
It
makes
was a
more
rough
sense to
shape.
just start from scratch.
Yeah.
So we're also helping to serve. The city did a symposium in the spring about how much overhousing we have in St. John, where there's single people, two people living in 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom places because they have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So this property will serve two purposes of bringing 12 net new units on board for the community, but also we're going to have two wheelchair accessible units. We're going to have 40% of the building will actually be affordable housing through Housing New Brunswick. And then the rest of the property will be at market rent.
Very cool.
So that's what we're really leaning on the programs that are available to access the CMHC programs, the provincial funding. The city has some funding as well for different things. So we're accessing every level that we can so that we can offset the fact that we're about to do essentially $1 million build on this lot, but make it that there's a net ROI that works because of those grants and funding that's available.
Very cool, Anson. So how many properties like this do you currently have in the portfolio or in the works yourselves?
So the one other developer that I work with, he and I are currently have 8. We have 8 properties that are going to go through in front of council in December.
Yep.
I have another developer that I'm working with as well. that we're working on, again, taking a commercial ground floor with 2 units above it, making it now 12 units.
Yep.
And then he and I also are now, we just got a 5 unit building that we're going to make a 7 for now, while we go through the process of because it's a huge, like massive lot, where we actually anticipate we're going to be able to turn that existing 5 unit to 7, and then actually turn it into a 17 or 18 unit building.
Very cool. And how many properties do you currently have in your portfolio that are active and rented out?
Um,
What does that look like at the moment?
so my own personal portfolio, we're actually fully active. We're into 4 buildings.
Nice.
And but when we bring on all of these
Well, I
empty
know it'll be huge.
renovation buildings, we're going to be into
So
it's going
tell
to
me
be
a little bit about how you got into the property management side of things, Anson.
yeah. So when we moved back to from Ontario to New Brunswick in 2020, and as I'm sure everybody knows, selling a house in Ontario and then moving to Atlantic Canada, there's some advantages. But one of the things I've always been interested in, because we did a little bit of single family ownership when when my family and I were in Saskatchewan and then Ontario, and frankly, I never want to do it again, right? 'Cause one thing
Yep.
breaks and everything, it's all on you, right?
Got it. Yep.
Versus the old, saying of, if you've got 7 units, then if you have one hiccup, it's not a it's
Yeah,
an it's a non-event.
six are carrying the cost. Got it. Yep.
Exactly, right? It's a non-event. So um I really wanted to get into the multifamily area. I love residual income. I love the fact of building something or creating something, developing something, and then continuing to get paid on that effort. And so I started really digging into, where and what and how, and read a lot of books and watched a lot of YouTube videos, and got into a couple of real estate investing courses. And a friend of mine from Ottawa, from where I had moved back to Atlantic Canada from, in 1 year ended up adding 100 units to his portfolio. And,
Wow.
some of them he owns, a very little portion in, and some of them he owns all the way outright and everything in between. But
Yep.
again, having a percentage of anything is better than a percentage of nothing. And so I really got into the mindset of partnerships and things like that. And 2022 is when we really got into things. And I had been walking properties as things became more relaxed in 2021, and started doing underwriting, started really diving into the numbers, because the numbers don't lie. And we ended up, through that process, I just wasn't overly enthusiastic with the level of property management that was being done. And
Especially for smaller properties, right?
oh,
That's the
especially on
thing.
smaller properties,
Yeah.
right? So, I didn't. I knew I didn't at that time. I did not want to manage my own properties, which obviously that went out the way. So, eventually, it came to a point where I actually went to a mastermind, real estate mastermind, and I decided then and there that, you know what, if somebody was going to do it, it was going to be me, because if I want to set the example of what I want for property management, then I'm going to go do it myself.
Interesting. Yeah.
So we dove in, and at the same time as we started our first Burr project, we started a property management company. So we bought a 5 unit with a commercial that was valued at, I think at the time, 660,000, I think it was, or 669 or something. And we renovated those 5 residential units and the commercial space. We renovated, and we ended up turning that into a $1.72 million property by appraisal in 8 months.
Nice.
And, that's when I really got the bug of, wow, this is real. We can actually do
Well,
this.
let's talk a little bit about the property management side of
Yep.
things, Anson. So you teased us at the beginning talking about transparent property management,
Yep.
what that means to you and what that means to your clients. Tell me a little bit about that. What does that look like? What does that mean?
So yeah, so we run a cost plus model, meaning if I buy a light bulb, Or
For
if
my
I
rental property that you're managing.
exactly
Yes.
if I'm managing the property and we need to replace a light fixture and the
Yeah.
electrician costs $100 and the fixture costs 30, we charge a fee on top of that only, and the owner gets a copy of the actual invoices from the suppliers, right? From whatever we've done. And we charge at 15-minute increments on actual needing to go on site for things. So if we're doing a quality check on something and we're there and the team's there for 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes. If they're there for 19 and a half minutes, it's 30 minutes, right? And we find that that has made it a significant difference for our triplex, fourplex, even duplex owners, that they're not paying some minimum, 50, 75, $100 fee to show up to a property. And that has, like, we've had triplexes owners that have come to us that have gone through 3 and 4, sometimes even 5 property management companies, and they're bleeding. They're
Yeah.
near bankruptcy, and we're able to stabilize the property, turn it around, and get it cash flowing again, typically in 2 to 3 months, because we're not looking at it as a simply just another client. We go in there with this lens of, if this was my actual property, what are the things that I would do or not do to bring value, to be able to increase the rents ethically. We're very big on not doing shady stuff. If we need to have a tenant move because the property does need a renovation, we typically start the process of, would you like to, we've got these other properties we can entertain you to come stay in, instead of, again, get out, we don't
Yeah.
care. We're trying not to add to the housing crisis, right? But there are properties that we've taken over where a match would burn the place down if the wrong thing happened, and
Yeah.
those unfortunately have to be addressed. Knob and tube wiring. Um,
Yeah. There's all sorts of issues with these
oh
older
yeah,
properties. Anson, as we're wrapping up here, my friend, because time flies, if people are saying, "Hey, you know what? I've got a property in New Brunswick. I'm not very happy with the management on," or they just want to connect with you because you're a sharp real estate investor in Atlantic, Canada. What's the best way for people to reach out and connect with you, Anson?
definitely my email address. That way, it doesn't get missed and doesn't
What
get.
is it?
It's Anson@retaingroup.ca.
Very good. Well, hey, Anson, congratulations on moving back home, hitting the ground running, not only building up a lovely portfolio for you and your family, but also managing it, managing other people's properties. And it looks like you're poised for some significant growth in 2025. So hats off to you. Good job.
Thank you. Thanks
All
for
right,
having me.
everybody. Take care, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.